So you have to scroll down a little bit and find it.
All right.
But that was
Nice, man.
I know, isn't that good? It's good stuff, man. I do like to share the best of the best, but uh, did you get the link? You got the link to English Hub, and that's where
Yeah.
Matthew learned this. Math professor, um, and Glover. He'll give you the globe answers, man.
Sure. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
You got to learn about both sides, not just one.
I've met the guy in person, I don't know, like 5 times at Flat Earth meetups. He comes to our meetups. Yeah.
And you guys do like tests and stuff?
Who?
We did.
Who does?
Matthew learns.
Oh God.
But yeah, I did the Eratosthenes kind of thing with him twice. I did it at the equinox, and I also did it with at the solstice as well. Exactly at noon. Yeah, we did it twice and did the math, and we just figured out the distance to the sun using math and a shadow angle to the sun. Yeah, it was
And it's not.
pure calculation, and he'll admit that it was a pure calculation, but yeah,
And the sun is not 93 million miles away, right? Obviously.
No, we came up with 3,500 miles average. We did it twice. You can ask him about it. He'll tell you more about it than I can. I gotta take a call. Be back.
Sure. Yo, India.
Yo.
I was asking about eclipses. Have you heard about the Ketu Rahu thing?
I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I've heard about it, but like, it's not a lot of information.
Yeah, it's very.
I've tried to find people from India and stuff like on Discord or whatever and have them explain it, but they're very secular. They actually, most Indians don't know anything about their own history, background, religion. We did have one guy who knew a little bit about it, but he was kind of like, I would call it like an offshoot, like sect of Hindu. So he knew some things, but it wasn't like he didn't know a lot about it. He knew basically what we know, that there was, some idea that there was these other dark bodies, Rahu and Ketu, that block the sun or block the moon, but nothing beyond that.
So, do you believe that there's like a dark object that covers the sun and all that stuff, or do you? What's your view on that?
I'm not convinced of that. There's some geometric impossibilities with that idea. Like,
So,
it's like a lot of people don't know this. Like a sunrise solar eclipse and a sunset solar eclipse are impossible.
so
Yeah,
how does?
if you see the eclipse like on the horizon, that's just impossible
Oh, okay.
because the horizon is supposed to dip down, right? So now, if you're looking at the horizon and you got a line of sight to both of the objects, and one is 400 miles away, farther away than the other, they can't be on the same line of sight.
Right.
Right? Because you're not looking like straight at them, right? You're looking dip down angle, right? So the tangent. So if you draw yourself on top of a ball and draw that tangent line, and that line goes through the moon and the sun, that means that the sun and the moon and the Earth aren't lined up.
So, what is causing the blockage then? Like, what is causing the darkness?
I mean,
Like,
the darkness could be just less light. Doesn't have to be a blockage.
really?
So yeah, so think about this. When you watch a movie projected on a screen, does the projector project black light? Like the black parts of the movie, is the projector projecting black light onto the screen?
No. That's
Doesn't make sense, right? Projecting black light.
really good.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, so that part of the screen is just darker. It's actually being illuminated by the light. It's just darker than the other parts. So to you, it appears black.
Interesting.
There's actually a video on this. I'll post it in the chat. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, send me videos, send me a bunch of stuff because I'm trying to like get hip to everything. I'm trying to learn everything.
But the fact of the matter is, not only is the cause of the eclipse not known, it's indeterminable because you can't do the scientific experiment required to ascertain its true cause. Because we can't manipulate the moon, can't manipulate the Earth, we can't manipulate any of these things.
Yeah, that's where God does those things. Because
Well,
it says in the
we
Bible
know,
that
well, I'm talking about from
yeah.
the viewpoint of science, right? We
Oh,
know how
okay.
to establish cause and effect relationships using the scientific method, and you can't use these methods on the sun, moon, or anything, right?
Stars.
Yeah.
So you'll never know with any reasonable scientific certainty what the cause is. Now, you can come up with models that predict when they happen, and those exist. The ones that are used now don't use a globe to predict when they happen. In fact, if they do use a heliocentric model for prediction, they don't. It doesn't work.
So they use like a geocentric model?
They use an observer-centric model
Oh, okay.
in timing, right? So we know the timings when eclipses occur, how far apart they are, based upon the coincidence of three values: something called an eclipse year, a draconic year, and what's called an animistic year, something like that. And both of them have different lengths. But when their lengths, the cycles end at the same time, there'll be an eclipse.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
But there's also, that's the Saros cycle, but there's also cycles within that cycle called the metonic cycle, the draconic cycle, the exogenous cycle. So eclipses also happen on like some 400-year cycle, like 1,000-year cycle, like, there's cycles within the cycles.
Right, that makes sense. And yeah, because we have there's a lunar eclipse happening in September 7th this year, and it's going to be visible across Europe, Russia, I think Australia,
Africa.
and Alaska, Africa. Yeah.
Just a little
So
tip of Alaska.
yeah.
Yeah. We're not gonna see it here. I'm not gonna see it.
Right. And yeah, I mean, there's like I really want to study this stuff because I really want to find out what it is. Like I really want to study and like figure out what causes these things, right? And I'm an amateur. Like I'm a novice. I don't really know that much. Like I'm still learning. So like that's why I'm here to like ask questions and just figure out things and watch videos and like listen to debates and stuff.
You're in the right place. You know that there's information channels at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. I look at those and
They're pretty
it's
extensive. Like there's an extensive amount that's like 8 years of curated information from hundreds of people.
yeah. The only thing is like it's very helpful. It's just like some people have different opinions in those channels, so it's like trying to find out like which one is like the best one. Because like sometimes I read things and it's like one person says one thing and the other person says another thing.
Well, I try to focus on. Well, we in general try to focus on what can be like empirically demonstrated to be true. Right,
Right.
something
Yeah.
you can know to be true, as opposed to you got to believe someone's opinion about something.
Yeah.
And we obviously can't always adhere to that, but we try to.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Science is definitely something that's like a tool of ensuring the accuracy of what you're doing, not just like kind of making up stuff to like
So
justify. Yeah.
yeah, so like you heard me talking to the other guy. Empiricism is not the highest form of knowledge, and like the scientific materialist atheists pretend that it is, or they believe that it is, but it's actually not. The only things we can know things to be true purely through logic.
Fire's hot. I checked it out.
Well, yeah, that's empirical, right?
That's empirical, baby. 100%. If it's not, man, there's something wrong with me. Dang it.
And empiricism is good, but it can't do everything. It can do a lot of things, but not everything.
Right.
So I did post that video in the chat.
I hate the dark light.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, the dark light.
Well, dude.
So there's eclipses that are geometrically impossible that happen. The two I mentioned, right? The sunrise. So this is the thing you need to remember.
It's
All
called
solar eclipses happen on a new moon. All lunar eclipses happen on a full moon.
Right.
Right? So once you know this, then you can say, okay, what's actually possible?
Right.
What's actually possible within the model? So solar eclipses with the sunrise, and the sun is supposedly blocked by the moon at the horizon. That's not possible because the line of sight is not straight. The line of sight, like you're not in the center of the earth. Like, so they can't be. It's called syzygy. When the sun, moon, and earth are lined up, they can't be in syzygy. And for you to observe this
video, it's playing your video. Fuck.
Interesting.
Are you aware of the Solomon eclipse? Have you heard of that?
Say it again.
The Solomon eclipse. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I was reading that a little bit. It was interesting. It's like the way the shadow looks is not what you would expect during like on the Earth model, or I'm sorry, globe model.
Well, the sun and the moon are higher than your head, and the Earth is under your feet, and the thing that's supposed to be casting the shadow is not between the sun and the moon because those two things are over your head.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of a. I've loved the Salinellian eclipse for a long time, and
they would claim it's refraction, right? That's happening, and that would be a plausible excuse if it was coming from the bottom, right? So if the sun was setting into the Earth's shadow, but they're observed where the sun is setting, the moon is setting, but the shadow is coming from the top of the moon, not from underneath, but from up top.
Yeah, that's kind of the dead giveaway. Like, okay.
And there's other things, right? So it's supposed to be the circle of the Earth is a sphere, it's casting a shadow on the moon. But if the moon had a curved surface, it wouldn't actually be observed this way because when you project a shadow onto a surface, it takes the form of that surface. So if I have a railing and a set of stairs, the railing is straight, but the shadow cast on the stairs is jagged because the stairs are jagged.
Right.
So if I have a circle and it's cast on a curved surface, it's going to make an S shape when it crosses the middle of the moon because the curve is in one direction on one side and it's in the other direction on the other side. So the edge of the shadow would make an S shape. You can actually demonstrate this with, two balls and a light source. And this isn't what we observed. It stays circular.
You can do this at home. In your
Yeah.
So
if you combine that if you just combine that, right, with the fact that if they use the heliocentric model, they can't actually predict an eclipse time. Okay, well, they can predict an eclipse time, but it won't match reality, right? That fact alone, just like, what is the basis for the idea, right? We don't have a model that can predict when they happen based upon heliocentrism and 3 balls in a row, right? So you don't have a model. You have observations that are geometrically impossible within that model. So what do you actually have? You just have a fucking story that everybody just parrots and runs around telling each other is true, but there's actually zero evidence for it.
So if it was a globe, the shadow would be like an S shape.
When it crosses, right? So as it moves, as like the round shape moves across the surface of the moon, right? So you're going up one side of the curved surface, but when it crosses over the center part, just like imagine drawing the center line down the center of the moon. When the edge of the shadow starts crossing over to the other side, that shadow will distort because it has to form the shape of the surface it's being projected on.
Yeah. I got you.
And that wouldn't be a perfect circle. It would only be a perfect circle if you were projecting that circle on a sphere onto a flat sheet of paper.
Right.
right?
Yeah. Is there like a video that shows this so I could like show people? Because like that's actually a really good argument.
Probably in the Eclipse channel. Yeah, I'll post a video. So there's one. This video is quite entertaining. Well, it's funny in a way that. So the dude's filming the eclipse, and then he's trying to explain it to his girlfriend how it's happening, and he gets all fucked up. Like, he like, can't explain it, bro. It's pretty funny.
I love that video. Dude, that video is just like 10 years old almost. Yep. Anyway, the CERN physicist has gone up against a lot of flat earthers apparently, but I just found a bunch of them. There's like Whitsitt takes him on, Allen takes him on. Yeah, so if you want to listen to a physicist try to explain some physics, man, to flat earthers, New Perspective's got a fucking list of them. Just go to his videos and search Franco, and there's like a whole list, man. Here, I'll put it in.
Oh yeah, he's an ex-CERN physicist and currently a physics teacher at university.
This is like a freaking gold mine of if you like to listen to physicists, man. There you go.
You can also listen to me freaking smacking people around. It's also
That's
pretty
true.
humorous.
Leo's got a few videos over there too.
Quite a lot. He seems to like me, man.
He does like you.
I got a stack of fucking bodies on his channel.
It's a bit gay, but you know, I'll tell him to ease up or something. No, he's been putting out clipping a lot of really good, arguments about where we live. Arguments, discussions, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, there's a whole cache of them over there with Mr. Franco, physicist.
And then there's another thing I actually want to go over is the forget the name of the law. It's like the Coulomb's law. I think is how you say it. Coulomb's law. Yeah,
Coulomb's law.
Yeah, Coulomb's law like describes an electric force between charged particles and stuff.
Yeah.
And like it's like there's like a physicist that says like this force is like what causes objects to go down, not gravity in the Earth.
Right.
There's a lot of hypotheses on what causes things to fall, and none have any validity. And I mean none. And I say that for a reason. I'm not just saying it for no reason. I'm saying it because you can't do the experiment. Like the experiment you have to do, you got your observed natural phenomenon, falling object. Now you want to know the cause of that. Like, okay, so let's do the experiment, how we figure out the cause. But whatever we think the cause is, we have to be able to vary and manipulate it and change the effect. So say we have say it's mass. Mass is attracted to the other mass, and that's why it's falling. Okay, let's vary and manipulate the mass. Okay, when you do that, you get the same effect. It doesn't change the rate of fall.
Okay.
And their excuse for this is, well, Newton's second law of motion says that, a reaction, there's the equal and opposite reaction. So you need the same force that the falling object, to move the object in the first place, because it has a larger mass, it takes more force, right? So this exactly cancels out so that all objects fall at the exact same rate. That's cool, but you can't actually show that in any experiment. And it also assumes that there's a gravity and inertial equivalence, right? That inertial mass and gravitational mass are identical. And I hate to show, there's a physicist named Sky Darnos, which has shown that this is actually not true. And so what experiments that he's done, right? So he takes different elements, and there's also another guy that did a Bremen drop tower, which is a vacuum chamber, where he drops a bunch of elements of the same mass but different composition because they're different elements, and he drops them and they don't fall at the same rate. this dude Sky Darnos has also done these drop experiments,
Is that the
and shown that they don't fall at the same rate, but they have the same inertial mass, right? Right. So if you freaking inertial mass is like how much force does it take to propel this fucking mass, like 1 mile per hour or something? That's your inertial mass. But the gravitational mass is how fast something falls, right? And based upon, hey, we think the mass of the Earth is this, so when I drop this, it should drop this fast. It's being found out that these are actually not the same value. So the whole endeavor is just about like mass attracts mass. That's the call of gravity. There's actually it's not like literally, there's no scientific basis for that. In fact, the universal law of gravitation doesn't even have a scientific basis, contrary to popular belief, because that law is not an actual physical law derived from experiment. It is a law derived from, hey, if there's Newton noticed that in Kepler's elliptical orbits, the geometric relationship that if you have a body and that force is directed at one of the foci of the ellipse, like the Earth is the body, the sun is the foci of the ellipse, that force would fall off inversely proportional to the square of the distance. That geometric relationship is what Newton noticed. It's not based upon any experiment. And you can verify this. There's a video by Feynman called also 3 Brown 1 Blue, which is a mathematics channel that both go over this. It's called Feynman's Lost Lecture. So they go over how Newton derived the inverse square law and where it came from. Though, I should say, Feynman talks about it. He says he's not going to derive it that way. Newton derived it from using conic sections, which was an old mathematical tool that they don't use anymore. But you can get the equivalent thing using vectors. Anyway, it's like neither here nor there. The point is that when people think about gravity, it's kind of like, I wouldn't say, it's kind of like, it's kind of like misinformation, or it's kind of wrong. I don't want to characterize it a certain way, because I don't think people propagating the wrong ideas about what it is like, I don't think it's maliciously intended. I just think that it's like a myth. Like people have these ideas about like, okay, what's mass attracts mass? Well, it's the amount of matter in a freaking object. That's not what mass is.
No.
It's the definition of mass in physics. Okay? But people have this idea that that's what mass is. If I have a whole bunch of material, then the gravity will be stronger. Yes, but it's not but the mass is not the amount of matter. It's more than that. Like if they try to count up the number of particles in a material and say, hey, this is the mass, that will not give the correct value.
How the fuck
So
do you count the particles?
What would it be then? What's the correct value? How do you find that?
They would know it empirically by measuring it. But they couldn't predict it from counting the particles. And what they'll say now is that, well, there's a nuclear binding energy, and because the mass energy equivalence, right, the energy is equivalent to mass, right? Now we're talking about inertial mass, right? And because this energy has like an inertial resistance, that missing mass, as denoted by counting the frickin' atoms, electrons, protons, and neutrons, exists in the form of nuclear binding energy, as in the strong force and weak force. That the strong force and weak force have a mass, but then that was what they claimed for a long time. But then there's like some proton problem where there's actually missing mass, and like that's a whole shit show in and of itself.
Total shit show.
So you would say
the fact is let's say this one thing. The fact of the matter is they use these models and these physics because they're good enough for all practical purposes. Okay? If I want to know how far to shoot a fucking cannonball, it's good enough. I only have to be accurate like within 10 feet. You know what I mean? I don't need to be fucking exactly precise. It just has to be accurate enough. And a lot of these models are just accurate enough for practical purposes.
Right. And would you say like these like theories, like theory of gravity, is not really based on
I wouldn't
like
even call it a theory, call it a hypothesis.
a hypothesis? These are all based on presuppositions. Really, it's not really like a real thing. Like it's more like, hey, I presuppose that we are on a heliocentric model, and I am,
It's
on a
not based
ball.
on anything. It's literally not based on anything. Okay, so often you'll get this. Okay, this is pretty much. If you had a Gober come in here and say the Earth's evolved because of gravity, I'd say, "Oh, gravity, what's that?" And then you can listen to them fucking struggle to try and tell us what it is.
They'll struggle horribly. Yeah.
Okay, they'll say something like "drop something." Oh, so dropping something's gravity.
Right. Drop your pencil.
Yeah, dropping something. Well, then I'll tell. Well, that's the effect of gravity, right? Yes. So it's the cause and the effect. Yes. Like, seriously, this is what happens every goddamn time. Probably someone right now listening on YouTube about to jump in here, even though they heard it, they'll try it again. It's fucking funny as shit half the time. They'll fucking hear it, dude. I listen. I was in a politics server. 3 people in a row, and they were in the chat when they heard the previous person, and they still did it with warning. This is how brainwashed people are. That they have these ideas in their head and they think that they're true, but then when you question about them, it all falls apart. And they can even hear someone do what they say, what they believe to be true themselves, and have it fall apart on them, and they'll still try it themselves. Right? It's like you watch someone, they stick their hand in the fire, and they go, "Oh, that hurt," and then they follow them right up to the fire and stick their hand in the fire to see if it really burns.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Yeah, that is very unfortunate for those people that they had to basically repeat, the same mistake. Um,
Yeah, so like you heard it, like we're standing on shoulders of giants. There's a version of that. It goes like this: we're standing on shoulders of giants, we're standing on shoulders of giants, and maybe we can see a little bit see a little bit further. Well, the antithesis of that is we're standing on the shoulders of giants to repeat their mistakes forever and ever.
I like it.
Right. Right. So, but these theory or like these hypotheses and stuff, these people had to believe, like they were trying to justify like a globe, right? Like, because like if something falls down, right? Like if it falls down on a globe, it's gonna fall off like the globe, right? If you're on like the sides of the globe, I guess. And so they had to say that, oh, gravity actually is what's keeping it from falling off the globe.
They even say this. They say what you're saying formally. So if you look in like the very first published book on geodetic surveying, it's called Higher Mathematical Theories of Geodesy. And geodesy is like geodetic surveying. It'll say in the beginning, like, we can't measure everywhere on the Earth. We can't measure, and they go through the problems of different measurements. So we have to assume that the Earth's a sphere using a theory of formation. And the theory of formation is that there's gravity forming things into balls. Now remember, no one has ever actually observed this to occur. Now you could say, hey, look, I see in the sky planets are balls. Yeah, so what? You didn't watch them form. And even if you did see them form, would you even know that it's gravity that's forming them from here? Right? You look to a telescope, you'd see them forming, like, how'd that form? Oh, gravity. How do you know that?
Yeah, they have to pretty much just kind of make that assumption. Like they have to like say, oh, it's this, they have to sort of enforce.
The globe is a religion, dude. That's all it is. It really is. Like, when you scrape all the fucking sauce away, dude, underneath the sauce is some rotten spaghetti, man. It's just a religion. A lot of the things are just believed on, like you said, assumptions, right? They just believe it to be true. They just presuppose that it's true and go from there. And oftentimes, as I'm sure you've encountered, is that their justification for thinking it's true is everybody else believes it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And yeah, it's like what makes me wonder, like, what did the Greeks think? Like, why did they think this way? Like, why did they, like, where's the
It
origin of
wasn't,
this?
well, that's the thing too. Like, it wasn't all the Greeks, it was some of them.
Yeah, some of them, exactly. And
So you got Eratosthenes, right? So he's supposed to be calculating the circumference. At the same time, in the same city that Eratosthenes lived, was a guy named Thales of Miletus. He predicted, he's the first person to actually predict, known, that's written down, to predict an eclipse to the day. Okay? He was a flat earther. He came up with Thales' theorem, which was used to measure the height of the pyramid. Okay, so he lived in the same city at the same time. We have all the extant literature that he wrote, and I think some primary sources. We don't have a single primary source for Eratosthenes, and we don't
Not
even have a
one.
secondary. We don't even have a secondary source.
Yeah, it's all
Meaning, we don't have the original person that said, "Hey, there was this guy Eratosthenes. He was alive." We don't have that guy's shit. We have somebody saying there was this guy Cleomenes who said there was this other guy Eratosthenes that did this thing.
It was a guy. I know a guy. I knew a guy.
Yeah, I know a guy, dude. The brother of my cousin's dog's friend.
Yeah, it's like, he's a friend. Yeah. Eratosthenes didn't write anything down, man. There's no book. There's no calculator. There's nothing. There's zero, zip, nada. And it was just hearsay. Some guy said that he heard from some guy. That's how bad it is. It's so bad. It's horrible. I hate it. I hate it, but they teach it in school, and everybody brings it up, and it drives me nuts. Indio, like, why are you bringing up
Yeah, I
that
know.
shit show, Mongo? Stop it! Stop it! Please.
Hold on, brother. You went and did it yourself.
Yeah, well, I
With
did it.
Matthew Lawrence.
Yeah, I did it twice with him, bro. But just to, our calculations were different than Eratosthenes. They were how far is the distance to the sun? We weren't doing radius. We did distance to the sun. It was like 3,500 miles, roughly, both times. 3,487 and 34 like 62 or something. It was close. So it was 3,500 miles. I just call it. I'll give him a few miles, right? Come on. Hey, guess what, man? The sun is 3 million miles farther away right now. It's the middle of summer, and I'm sweating my balls off. Why if the fire's hot, man? If it's farther away, isn't it supposed to be colder? What happened to that physics, Indio? Help me, please. Goodness gracious. I explain that to people, and they don't even get that sometimes. They don't understand real physics. Like, fire's hot. If you get close to it, it's hot. If you get away from it, it's not hot. It's But that they explain, this heliocentric model explains, like, this time of year the sun's 3 million miles farther away. It's 90.
Yeah, the sun is thermodynamically backwards because they say that the sun is cooler in the center than at the edges.
Right.
So at the center, it's 6,000 degrees, and then when you back up, it goes up to 1,000,000 degrees. So, like you said, everyone knows that when you get away from a heat source, it's not as hot.
Right.
With the sun, you back away from it, it gets hotter.
Yeah, it's the backwards. It's totally backwards, and I love pointing that out to people. Maybe they don't get it, and I don't know. They don't even get that sometimes, man. I'm like trying to explain it to them, dude. If
QE said it was like this: like, you're getting warmed by the hot stove, and then you go to walk away from it, and you spontaneously combust.
I love it. Yeah, exactly. It just makes no sense in physics whatsoever. Zero. And I love to bring up that to a physicist all the time. That'd be great.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. And I was going to ask also, who was that guy that you said that was in the same city as Eratosthenes?
Thales. It's Thales of Miletus. Miletus is spelled Mileteus.
Okay, let me see. Let me look him up.
I might be wrong on the Miletus part. I might have spelled that wrong.
Let me see. How do you say it? T. You said TH.
ALES.
T. Oh. Okay. Oh. Miletus, got it. He lived from 624 to 546 BCE, and he's considered the first philosopher and one of the 7 sages of ancient Greece, and he pioneered mathematics, astronomy, and philosophy.
That's a lot of fields to,
And he was a flat earther.
Yeah. Sounds like a flat earther looking into all that shit. Come on. I mean, any flat earther with the right mind would want to look into all 3 of those things all the time. Yeah. We get it all in these discords, dude. Philosophy, physics. Yeah, we're busy over here, man.
He thought the Earth was a flat. It even says in that wiki article that he thought the Earth was a flat disk floating on water.
Holy moly, that's insane.
There you go.
Yeah, that's okay. We got to research this guy then.
Like I said, it's not all the Greeks. In fact, flat Earth has been around, like, dude, been around forever, dude. It's never gone away.
Since the beginning of time, since the Lord created the earth and the waters and the firmament.
There you go. Genesis 1. Gotta love it, bro. Gotta love it. Yeah.
Do you study Samuel Robotham? I think how you say it.
No.
Nah.
No. I don't. I know I know like some of the stuff he did. I read portion of his book, but it's like, I guess, like, even though, like, that's like reinventing the wheel pretty much. Like, reading his stuff is like, the stuff we've come up with now is way more sophisticated than what he did. So it's like, why would I read him? It's like reading a caveman. It's like it makes no sense. Even though, like, he makes a lot of same arguments we did, but
Right.
he has some historical references, like how far south you can see Polaris from. So he said it's been recorded to have been seen from, I think, 20 degrees south, which is pretty fucking far south.
Yeah, that's a bit far.
There should be a freaking, fucking 400-mile hill of water between him and Polaris.
Right. Yeah, a big giant hill. Yeah, of water.
So you think that he's archaic and like not as like advanced as like today, like as like your stuff today, basically? Would you say anything that
No, because he has observations and experiments. What, like, the equipment he used is, it's end of the 18th century equipment. They didn't have as good manufacturing processes, right? They didn't have instruments where they had as high level of precision, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with his methodology. It's his equipment that's ass. It's just because of the time, right?
Right. And would you say anything that he said is wrong, or would you say like all of it's right?
I haven't. I don't know. I haven't read enough of his shit to say if he said anything wrong ever. I'm sure there is some shit that's wrong.
Right. Got it.
I'd be quite shocked if he wrote a whole book and there wasn't one wrong thing in it.
Yeah. Even if Indio wrote a book, there's going to be one wrong thing in it, man. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'd write the end, and it wouldn't be.
Yeah, it's not the end. Did anybody ever title the end of the book, "This is not the end"? I don't know. You should do that, Indio. Damn it.
This is the end. I used to call into this college radio station at like 5 minutes before they'd shut down and be like, play the Doors. Like, it's too long. It's a 12-minute fucking song. We can close in 5 minutes. Play it anyway.
You should write a book, though, honestly.
Yeah.
I got way more than a book. I got tens of thousands of audio hours. I have a whole plan, man. There's a plan. Don't worry.
10,000 hours of audio, man.
More than that.
So on the Flat Earth YouTube channel.
Yeah,
It's on there. It's around. You find it
all over, man.
all over, bro.
Yeah, he sent me a big one, which is the CERN scientist.
Yeah, I did. You the good ones, bro.
That's not our channel. Our channel is 24/7 Flat Earth Discord.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
All right.
But
And there's like
what's
2
your
of those
comment?
channels.
But
And we
go ahead.
we have some simultaneous. Yeah, we have some like we have like 2 24/7 Flat Earth Discords because we haven't been back here in a while, but we also hang in what's called the English Hub, which is a server for people trying to learn English, the politics server, and the politics and religion server. We got guest rooms where we're like, okay, we're like the #1 channel in your freaking servers,
Yeah,
even more than your regular shit.
we go over there.
Right.
All that audio, we have audio going back like freaking probably like 7 years, 24/7, like literally. Like, okay, so someone like copyright struck the channel for a while, and when they copyright, all those videos are right now they're hidden, they're made private. When they copyright struck the channel, we were at like something like over 3,000 videos. We're on episode like 3,000 or something, and that was like 2 years ago now. So if we actually kept the count of episodes, we're probably at like episode fucking 4,300 maybe. So we're talking 24 hours. So 4,300 episodes, 12-hour episodes.
12-hour.
So like 2,000 days worth.
Yeah, easy,
Jeez,
bro.
that's a lot.
Yeah, we're talking full days. When I say days, I mean the 24-hour day, not fucking daytime.
That's right.
Right.
Somebody mentioned the other night, what's up with this stupid clock thing that goes from, it has, 2 12 o'clocks and 2 10 o'clocks and 2 1 o'clocks. Who came up with that shit? And I was like, I never thought of it like that, because I have a 24-hour clock right in front of me, and it shows 24 hours. And it's like, why aren't all clocks 24 hours? And I thought it was a good question.
It could be.
It should be, right? I think that's there to confuse people, India.
Military clocks are.
No, military is, but they're not confused. They just take orders and go, 1,300 hours, be here. Okay. They go. But everybody's clock should be 24-hour clock, man. It should be, what time is it in Australia right now? Hold on. It is, let me see. I got to get a little closer, man. My eyesight's not what it used to be, bro. All right. Right here, right now in Australia is, it's 18 o'clock. Yeah. The sun is
18
setting.
o'clock.
Yeah, it's 18, man. On a 24-hour clock, man. It's 18.
18 o'clock.
Right. Yeah, I know that sounds stupid, right?
6 p.m.
Now where I'm at, it's 23:45, whatever that is.
23. So you're in California, the West.
Yeah, California. So it's 23. 11:45, right? But that's 23:45, man. Right? Isn't that the right time?
That's military time.
Yeah.
It's 2:48 a.m. for me.
So military time uses 24-hour clock.
It's 100 there.
So anyway.
Hey, give me some more shit if you want, dude. I'll drop a. So a lot of globalists don't like this. Fact is that the coordinate system, latitude and longitude, are not actually coordinates on the ground. That they're actually coordinates in the sky.
Good old Polaris.
Yeah, they don't like that. You can't, because it like, imagine like the whole world is cloudy. You don't know where you are. You're lost. How do you figure out where you are? You can't see the sky now. Think about it. How do you figure out where you are?
Well,
using just the ground. using just the ground.
You have to know where the sun rises and sets, and you
got to know what time it is.
And you got to know what time it is. You got to know what time it is.
You got to know where the stars are.
Well,
otherwise you have no clue where you are. You're lost. You're completely lost. You can't figure out your latitude. There's no way to figure out your longitude. You need the sun for your longitude, and you need the celestial equator for your latitude. You can't see those two things, you're fucked.
Right.
Now, you could probably see the moon, and if you knew where the moon should be relative to the celestial equator, or where the sun should be relative to the celestial equator, you could probably figure out where your latitude is, but you certainly at least need the time. And that time comes from the sun. So if you can't see the sun, you're pretty much fucked.
But if you can just see when it starts getting daylight, you can guesstimate, about what time it is pretty easily, bro. And that's not difficult at all.
Depends on the time of year.
Yeah, of course. If it's winter or summer. But yeah, if
I find the sun rises and sets. It takes longer in the summer to rise and set.
Right. It takes much longer in the summer, for sure. I love summer. Damn. Good time of year. You guys enjoying your summer? I hope so. But
yeah.
It's 99 degrees today. In 2 days, they said it's going to be 67.
Get out of here. No way.
Yeah, way.
Dude.
Yeah.
Okay, you got to report back and tell me that happened. I've lived in Vegas for 4 years, and we would get days like that. It'd be like 82, and the next day it'd be like 55, and you're like, what the hell just happened, man? Damn. So, yeah, it happens. I'm not saying it don't.
I know. I'm going to go from sweating balls in super humid 99-degree weather to fucking wearing an overcoat.
You got your freaking hoodie on. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah, man.
Hey, 67's not that bad, bro. I mean, I can handle that.
Yeah, I know, but it's a change that makes it feel colder than it really is,
That's true. We get that a lot here in California. The sun goes down and the temperature drops 10 degrees an hour sometimes. And you're like,
what you guys are all bitching about, seriously.
Damn. We're bitching.
At the moment, for me, it's 48.
48? Get out. No.
In Fahrenheit.
Celsius.
No, in Celsius, 9.
It's 11.
Oh, dude. Poor baby. You're cold in Australia for once.
It's funny. I've been here 20 years, and I still go by American. Oh yeah, it's summertime. It's really cold during the summer here.
So, when it gets super cold, do you put up your Christmas tree? Just keep the tradition.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's like California here, man. It's well, not really. It's like California in the summer here. Yeah. I mean, Christmas.
Coldest I've ever been, where I live, it got to -5 Celsius, which is 23 Fahrenheit. That's the coldest it's ever been here.
All right. That's pretty cold. But it's not like...
No. It didn't stay like that. It got that's what it got. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. That was it. All the rest of the time, it's normally on the positive side of.
It's well below freezing, man. Well below. Yeah. Fahrenheit.
Yo, India.
Summertime, she's normally about 42. And that's about 107 for you guys. That's pretty normal for us.
Yeah. Hey, we got a new cat up here named Cat. Super interesting guy, man. Got some good questions.
Yeah, I got a lot of questions.
He's been looking into it hard, man. And Indio's giving him some background stuff. I've given him some stuff.
Yeah, he's gotten a crash course.
Got a crash course in high-level PhD Earth physics, astronomy. Yeah, we're
Crash
covering.
course for most of the guys that come in here, it's their cognitive dissonance crashes head first into a brick wall.
Well, we're in a different level here, Matrix. we're at the PhD level, and he's getting it, man. He's like, okay, let me look at this, let me look at that, let me check it out. I'll get back to you. It's good stuff. Thanks, Kat.
I mean, are we still running the event? Oh yeah. So look at the event title, Matrix.
Globo Challenge, debunk or crash out. I reckon there would have been a few crash outs.
Yeah,
That's cruel. It's like
it's
clickbait.
brutal, man. Well, welcome to Earth. We can check it out. Fire's hot. Airplanes fly flat and stationary. I talked to a bunch of pilots myself. Yep.
Really? You spoke to pilots about?
Yeah, I've talked to 15 pilots in the last 10 years. Every one of them say, yeah, man, we just treat the Earth as flat and stationary. And that's it.
Yeah, they have to, dude.
They have to.
It'd be impossible to fly.
In fact, the airplane manufacturers are all on the same plane because they, even in their own documents, they admit that all the calculations to construct this flying object, you have to use flat and stationary Earth in order to do it. Period. And there's like 28 documents that I've run into over the years that state that right there in the diagrams of the planes and like of the missiles and anything that flies on Earth. It has to treat the Earth as flat and stationary. Period. Otherwise, your calculations are fucked. You're done. You're toast. It's not going to work.
Did they use the azimuth? How do I say it? Azimuth projection, whatever it's called.
Equidistant map. There is a map that it's programmed into like commercial airline navigation systems that is a azimuthal equidistant map.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it.
They have flight charts.
Yeah.
And the flight charts, depending on where they're flying, they're kind of like made for their route. Planes don't really fly point to point. They have these things called flight corridors. So there's domestic and international flight corridors. So when they fly someplace, they fly to the flight corridor and then fly within it to get to their destination. So map, and they kind of don't use a map. I mean, I'm sure they could, but like they're pretty much on autopilot.
Really?
Almost,
Well,
yeah,
these
almost literally.
days, you think about the guys that flew in like World War II or Vietnam, whatever. They didn't have the
The World War II map, World War II air route map is an AE map.
That's right.
You've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Is a what map?
An AE map.
We just shorten azimuthal equidistance to AE.
Oh, okay, got you. I see what you're saying now. Yeah.
AE map.
AE map.
Yeah.
So they used AE maps during World War II.
Correct.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
The evidence just keeps stacking.
It keeps stacking. It's called a preponderance of stacking at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes me wonder, like, why do they keep just trying to change that? Like, why just maintain this over and over? It's like it's a bit exhausting. It's like,
look in the chat.
Oh, there it is. That's the map. That's it. Is that it? That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Sheesh.
Yeah, that's what they used. World War II, right there. Boom. That's the world in 1943, 1942. Yep.
Yeah, says polar azimuthal equidistant. How do you say it? Equidistant.
Equal distances. Equidistant.
Equidistant projection. Yeah,
but you have to remember, if this isn't a map of the world, it's a projection of a coordinate system. And the system of coordinates is a celestial sphere. So they correlate the celestial sphere, which is also in motion, and the timings and all that shit. They correlate the positions to positions on the ground. So basically, say I'm at some latitude and longitude. Philadelphia is a good example. Someone brought up the other day. So it'll have a coordinate, and that coordinate says, by looking in the celestial navigation, the nautical almanac, it'll say, on this day, such and such a time, if you look up in the sky, you'll see a star in this position. And if you're somewhere else, you'll see that same star in this position. That's it. That's all it is. It's no more complicated than that.
Oh, okay.
Angles to this star or that star, angle, depending on where you are. You look
At a
up
certain time.
at certain time. You look up, see an angle to a certain star, and that's your position, right? Is that where we're going? Yep. And then we made the map from all that. From all of that, the map was made from different positions and angles. Is that where we're at, Indio?
Oh yeah, that's exactly where we're at.
Okay, just checking. Just double check. I like to.
So what's the map of the Earth then? If that's the like
Depends on the
based on
purpose.
just seeing everything. I want to see everything.
That's a question from where?
From where?
The middle of the Earth.
You're gonna be New York,
I guess the middle of the Earth.
middle Antarctica.
I don't even know where that is, bro.
Where the fuck's the middle of the Earth, bro?
Antarctica, I guess.
North
Pole?
Equator. I mean, where do you want to see it?
No, that would be the middle of the coordinate system. That wouldn't be the middle of the Earth.
Oh, ain't that something?
We're using the stars as the coordinate system.
Oh, man.
And if we center that at like what we think, wherever we think Polaris, what's under Polaris, that's our center.
Yeah, exactly.
Though that might not actually be true, that it is the actual center. The whole thing could be completely asymmetric. How the fuck do we know?
How the fuck could you know? How could you possibly know? Right? I mean, there's no way to know that for sure.
And there's actually no evidence there's any place on Earth with Polaris directly above it.
That's a whole interesting phenomenon that nobody's been to the North Pole to shoot straight up and catch Polaris. Nobody?
Yeah, I told you guys. There's a National Geographic did a video. It's called like something like going to the North Pole at night or crossing the Arctic at night. They get to where they think the North Pole is. That's what their GPS says. 89.9 degrees. And they just happen to get there on the equinox, so they can't film any fucking stars. Bummer for them, right? They just get there on the fucking first day of daylight.
No.
Yeah, I'm dead up, bro. I'm dead serious, dude. They got there on the equinox, the first day of daylight at the North Pole.
Right.
How unlucky. Oh.
Yeah, how unlucky.
Those bastards. It's just horrible. It's horrible luck, man. It's horrible.
And they could have pointed their camera straight up and said, we're right under the freaking North Star.
It's almost as interesting as NASA lost all the telemetry data for Apollo missions. Oops, my bad.
I see. So, show me some maps. Do you have any maps that you can show me? Because
well, I think that one that's in the chat right now.
Think about maps is that they're use specific. All maps are specific for what they're going to be used for. You couldn't navigate the Earth with just a map. Like, say you want to sail New York to Australia. How are you going to get there with a map?
I don't know. How would I?
You can't. It's not possible. You'd use celestial navigation, which we just covered.
Right.
You wouldn't use a map. You use the timing of stars and when they're positioned in the sky. You'd use a sky map. And then you'd sail under some star.
And what about like?
Just for the record, they did this technique before a globe concept ever existed.
Right, and so how did like Christopher Columbus get to how did he confuse like the Americas?
Well, he was lost. he was lost, and then he hit the Gulf Stream and smashed into Cuba. Well, that's what happened. Tell me that ain't what happened.
Tad.
He got lost, hit the Gulf Stream, and then smashed into Cuba.
Yep.
Or he didn't smash into Cuba. And he almost died of starvation, and they had to help him out and give him a bunch of food so he could sail back. And he's like, "Oh my God, there's so much shit to steal over there. Let's go back."
There's a bunch of cool stuff, man. They got like, gold and silver, all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, they're just hiding all their gold, man. We know it's there.
I thought he sailed first to El Salvador or something like that.
Mr. Columbus was lost. He was using the wrong size globe. He was using Ptolemy's globe, which is 10% smaller than Eratosthenes' globe, and he was lost.
Oh, okay. And isn't it funny, like, the sailors had, like, fear of falling off the earth and stuff?
No, that's a myth, man. No one ever thought that.
That's a total troll. 100%. I mean,
that's your kindergarten. That's your kindergarten teacher trolling you, man.
Right.
There's no record of anybody ever thinking they were going to sail off the earth, ever.
Nobody ever said that in all of human history, except for some kind of manipulation of people's thought patterns or something. It had to be a psychological thing, man, at this point. It was like, hey, if you sail here, if it was flat, you'd just fall off, man. I've run into in India, Bong, you guys have all run into 100 people, 100 minimum, that have said that. Like, really? Where does that come from? It comes from when you were taught that about the globe in school. If the earth is flat, you'd fall off. That's it.
It's ridiculous, man, because you'd fall off, and nobody's ever fallen off, so it's got to be ridiculous. They never tell you where you'd fall to. Like, where are you going to fall to, buddy?
Well, you're going to fall into the vacuum of space, Indio. I mean,
yeah, that's right. And then what?
And then
you sit there, like, how far do you fall? You fall to the speed. Oh, you fall into a black hole, probably.
There you go. Fall into, like, the abyss.
You fall into, like, a black hole, and there's a black hole above the earth, and then you just spit out the other one, and then, like, keep falling forever.
Dude,
like Portal, like the video game Portal.
I wish we knew what we knew now, and we're in 5th grade talking to our astronomy teacher or science teacher, whatever. All right, what are we falling off into, man? Where are we at?
Dude, I only had one science teacher that knew any science, to be honest.
What did he know?
He actually did experiments and shit. The rest of them were just clowns that read the textbook.
Oh, okay. Going back to school, knowing what you know now, I can guarantee you every single one of you lot will get suspended for being a pain in the bum. Seriously.
Oh,
getting out of there.
I'll be expelled.
You're arrested. Out of there. Go and stand in the corridor.
Bong's right. Okay, Bong, you're right. Arrested. Okay, we're talking multiple felonies.
Federal charges.
Yeah, federal. Yeah, they're taking it federal.
Like, how old are you? I'm 17. Not old enough. How old are you? What was the one 18-year-old in this school?
Yeah, it would. Dude, I wish I could just go back to 5th grade or 3rd grade or whatever right now. Damn.
Hey man, well, I'm getting ready to go to jail. I'm about to go talk to some, my peoples, the Samoans. I'm getting ready, for some kind of hostile reaction. Scary, man.
You think so?
I gotta do it. Yeah.
They're not gonna welcome you, man. They're not gonna welcome you with open arms.
I'm hoping they are. I'm hoping the old ignorant, ones that would be hostile are too old or dead, and I'm hoping it's my peers that are left that'll be open minded, enough to hear me out. Yeah.
Dude, I'll pray for you, man. Seriously.
I know. Thank you. Yeah. No,
actually, Bong, to be fair, I'm gonna pray for them.
Exactly. Exactly. They know not what they do. Or what they believe in. That's how. Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, dude. No, everything we told you, you just barely scratched the surface. Because we can go on and on and on.
I
William
know.
Salt Flats, the Knickerbocker radar, the fucking airplane that flew fucking from Europe to Brazil and the stars didn't change. Like, there's so much shit, dude. We have endless amount of shit. Literally, endless.
Saddaloons, I got that covered. I got Saddaloons covered.
So
Guaranteed.
the difference between flat Earth and the globe at this point is we have empirical evidence and they have TV shows. So really what it is, all they can ever say is, Dan, someone took pictures of the Earth, look at the screen. That's all they can do. And we say, yeah, we'll go outside and go find what's up, whatever is pictured on that screen, go actually find that outside. You can't. Go find that curving water outside, right? Because that's where it's a picture of you outside, right? When they take a picture of the Earth, that's the same Earth that's outside my house, right? So I'm gonna go out there. We'll see if they actually took a picture of what the fuck's out there.
Right, and I'm gonna ask you like one more. I'm generally just asking like for your commentary because like I look at the channels too. Like I'm not just like ignoring that, but like satellites, right? Is it a balloon that they attach and then like it like they like kind of LARP about it or and like use something else? Because reading this memes like satellite wreckages always come with the moon balloon attached.
They admit without a doubt, 100% that there are satellites on balloons. You can check it out. I've seen the launches. I've seen the crash landings.
There's also I'll post one in the chat, man.
Yeah, but yeah, satellites on balloons is not something that we just made up out of thin air and like all satellites are on balloons. That's, a bit of a stretch, but without a doubt, there's satellites on balloons, man.
Yeah,
And
obviously we can't prove every freaking satellite is on a balloon. Obviously,
the Samsung space selfie. Oh my goodness, Indio, tell them all about that one because that's my favorite, bro. That's my favorite.
well, I got the Planet Veritas video, dude, where he has from the like I think it's the Finnish or no Dutch Space Launch Center, like their spreadsheet. That's all balloons.
Yeah, every one of them was balloons, right? Yeah,
every one of them, like 100 at least.
But yeah, the Samsung space selfie satellite balloon crash is in my favorite debunk of are satellites on balloons or not. Yeah, well, here's direct evidence.
So this guy that what I just posted, this guy, he's not around no more, Robert Bizzano. Hopefully he's still alive. But Planet de Veritas is the name of the channel. And so in this live stream he did, he goes over classified documents out of Chile where they like a satellite supposedly crashed and it was just a fucking balloon. But the US but it was officially a US satellite. Okay? So that's one thing. Then he has like there was a National Reconnaissance Office. People that worked there that were old, right, and they're retiring. They did something called the Living Witness Program, where the people would recount what they did for the National Reconnaissance Office. And this guy caught balloons out of the air. And the terminology they used then and still used was these are satellites. That he was catching satellites out of the air. So they would fly these high altitude balloons. They would be at 120,000 feet. They'd float around, take pictures of the Soviet Union or whatever. And then when they came back around to like America or whatever, they would fly up with an airplane. They'd punch a code into their airplane and the balloon, they'd have an explosive charge that would pop the balloon and the gondola would start falling. They'd catch the gondola out of the air, reel it into the plane, and then land and then process the film and all that shit. Okay? And then the next piece is the spreadsheet. Spreadsheet of freaking all the balloon launches that they do at this. It was, I think it's called what was it? Grange Space Launch Center. I think it's in Norway or the Netherlands or something.
Yeah,
Part of the it's part of the ESU or something. Or
Egrange?
ESA. Yeah, Grange or Egrange.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's part of ESA. It's that's the European Space Agency, and they have a spreadsheet that he downloaded from their site, and it's all fucking balloons. And then the last part of the video, is them launching a balloon, launching a quote unquote satellite with 3 gigantic weather balloons.
Damn. All right. So
In fact, in that thumbnail right there, that's a balloon. That was Project Echo or something like that. Echo 1.
And
that was supposedly a freaking Mylar balloon that they orbited with a 1,600-mile orbit around the Earth. Now, I don't fucking know how they did that. Fucking, but whatever, dude. Orbiting balloons, bro. Like, that's crazy shit. And this is the first satellite they ever launched. Well, the first, like, Explorer was the first satellite, but this one was like the first satellite that was this was supposed to be a telecommunication satellite where they were going to bounce radio waves off of it and communicate. Yeah.
Yep. Bounce the signals off of the balloon and communicate with it. How about that? Echo 1 and Echo 2. Check those out, man. Those are gems in my opinion. But Samsung, man, that's my favorite.
A lot of this shit ties into the military industrial complex. So the first communication satellite that wasn't like this, that was like a repeater satellite with hardware and shit, that got funded by Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was a Texas senator, right? So he like forced a lot of crap through, because you gotta think, like, you have like government funding these projects in certain states, right? And this is called pork barrel politics, where they try to get a project funded in their state. So Lyndon Baines Johnson, who became the president of the United States after Kennedy, whatever happened to him, like advanced the space program. Like this was like his thing because all that shit's in Houston, Texas, right? NASA headquarters, Houston, Texas. All their shit was in Houston, Texas. So it's a big boondoggle, basically what it is. It's a grift. All this shit's a grift. That's all it is. It's a gigantic grift to fleece taxpayers of money.
Right. It's like
and to keep really smart people doing useless shit so that they don't fucking kill people. Because you don't want really smart people sitting around going, "Who the fuck do I stab next?"
Right. And they, how much money would they get? Like $20 billion a year or something?
That's like a day. It's more than that a day. It's like 50 billion or 50 million a day or something. Could be 75 million. But
NASA?
That's not the whole story. Yeah, NASA. They spend like 50 million a day, but that's not the whole story because that's just the budget. That's just a allocated budget. They have more streams of revenue than that.
Yeah, I bet. A lot of money.
Yeah, so they sell merchandise, right?
Yeah.
How much do you think they make from that?
In a year,
people running around with NASA T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, right?
Probably make like 10 million a year, maybe. I don't know.
Off of hats and T-shirts, I'm sure it's way more than that. But the point is that they issue a comprehensive annual financial report, and their revenue is way higher than what they get in the budget because they do other things. They license out facilities. They film. They have the world's largest fucking green screen, which they license out to Hollywood. Yeah, NASA owns the world's largest green screen. It's a Michoud. Which is a heavy vehicle launch center, but they don't make heavy lift vehicles. They have a giant green screen there instead. It's in Michelle, Louisiana. Pictures of it. There's news articles about it. Like, it exists. There's no doubt it exists. They filmed like the Three Ninjas there. They filmed Wolverine there.
Louisiana. So you said?
It's in Louisiana. Michoud. It's Michoud. I'll post a video about that shit too.
Jesus, this shit never ends. All right, so green screens, balloon satellites. So what do they do? Like, what's the actual technology then if it's not satellites that are doing this stuff? Like, what are they actually using?
There's no ball in the way, so they don't have to do anything. So so this is the last thing I'm going to do before I leave. I'm going to tell you about this. In 1918, there was a guy in Australia, in Sydney, Australia, that was an amateur radio person. Now, this is 1918 when radio's brand new. Nobody knows anything about it. It's a brand new thing, right? So we're talking about, like, Marconi has just started, and, like, he's trying to even convince people that it's a fucking radio is even worth doing anything with. It's this guy. So it was being used by the military. So a guy in Australia, he heard German on radio broadcasts. And he was like, holy shit, I'm hearing Germans talk. Well, how am I hearing Germans talk? In Berlin. There's a big ball Earth in the way. I shouldn't be hearing that. Well, lo and behold, they didn't care that there was a big ball Earth in the way. And they built a radio tower in Cornwall, England. And they built one in Sydney, Australia. And they talk to each other from 10,000 miles apart. Now, there should be a fucking 2,000-mile hump of fucking Earth between them that the radio waves can't get around. So this is in the beginning of radio. There's no repeaters, so that's not an option. It has to be line of sight or nearly line of sight. Now, when I say nearly line of sight, that means the radio waves probably ducted, like radar. So that when I brought up the Knickerbein, the Germans in World War II invented a radar system of bombing. It was a system for bombing. So they had two stations in Germany, and they shot a radar beam across England. They crossed each other, and when their German bombers were in the intersection of the beam, they would know to drop their bombs. Well, they're both more than 300 miles away from the UK, and the airplane would have to have been flying at an altitude of 12 miles, right, in a World War II propeller bomber, which isn't possible. So there's actually a documentary on this called not on this particular one, but on weapons used in World War II, and they talk about this. The actual scientists involved in it, right? That they didn't they knew something was happening, but the Earth was a globe, so there's no way they were doing it this way. And they tried to get the military to investigate it, that how they were accurately bombing, and what is this radio system they're finding in downed airplanes. And we have two pilots that are talking about using it, saying how didn't know they were being recorded. And then what ended up happening is one of them renegade scientists was like, fuck you guys, I don't care if the Earth's a globe, they're doing this. And went right to Winston Churchill himself. Winston Churchill said, okay, you can investigate it. They gave the guy a plane with a bunch of special equipment to detect the rate frequency, which they did, and then they tried to jam it, and et cetera, et cetera. But the fact is that the system shouldn't have worked if the Earth was a ball. The radio communication of 10,000 miles shouldn't have worked if the Earth is a ball. And I mean, and it goes on, dude. It goes on and on and on. It's endless. The evidence for flat Earth is endless, dude. It's endless. I can just go on forever, dude.
I know. That's what I like to hear, because it helps me build a foundation a little bit. It tells me a lot more. It makes me question more, and that actually leads to more a better worldview for me on this aspect.
This isn't even a matter of questioning, right?
Yeah.
You have your experience of the world, and at some point in your life, someone came along and said to you, Earth is a ball. And you probably said to yourself, well, it sure don't look like a ball. And they said, well, it's a ball that's too big to see. but trust us, it's a ball. And then they said, you're spinning. And you were like, well, I don't feel like I'm spinning. And they were like, well, that's because the Earth is spinning so slow you can't feel it. And you were like, okay, I guess I'll believe that too. And then they told you there's a vacuum and there's planets, these balls, in outer space whizzing around in the vacuum, and you're on Earth and that's also whizzing around the vacuum. And you're like, okay, well, why doesn't the air fuck off into outer space? And they were like, well, gravity holds the air, and contrary to the fucking gas laws. And you were like, okay, I'll believe you. So it's not a matter of even being skeptical. You've accepted, like, people just accept the idea, right? It's presented to them, and they choose to believe it. It's literally nothing more than that. It's not denying anything. It's like you're presenting with a story with fuck all for evidence, other than trust me, bro, and you choose to believe it. You either trust bro or don't trust bro.
Yeah.
I choose not to trust bro, okay? Like, I just, like...
Yeah, I don't trust him either.
You're trying to tell me that my experience of the world is some sort of fucking giant illusion. And I refuse to believe that until you actually show me rock solid, and I mean rock solid, evidence that this is the case. Meaning measurements that the surface of the Earth is curving, because that's the only way you can have a ball is with a curving Earth surface. Measurements of the Earth being in motion, and a demonstration that you can have gas pressure without a container. Okay? None of these things can be shown. They can talk about it, and they can conceptualize about how it could be shown. Well, what are you waiting for? Right? Go do the test. Go do the experiment. Because when we go do the test and go do the experiment, what's shown us by the Earth is that the Earth is not curving on the surface, that the Earth is not in motion, and that you can't have gas pressure without a container. That's what the evidence actually shows. But the globe Earth is a concept. It's a mental model that people have adopted some idea as a reality. But that idea doesn't exist out there in the physical and natural world. It exists in the minds of men. And that's the only place it's ever been, and that's the only place it ever will be. It'll be a concept shared between men about how the Earth is a globe. But nothing out there, no quality out there in the world where it actually exists.
Right. And yeah. So, okay. So the 1918, there was an Australian, and he heard the Germans talking.
It was Marconi, right? It was Marconi.
Yeah, Marconi. Okay, and then this was from Brown. This was from England to Sydney, Australia, 10,000 miles away. And then there was they shouldn't have happened because it would be land in the way in the globe, right? And then
yeah, 10,000 miles. That's like going from the North Pole to the South Pole.
Right. Yeah, that's
right.
fun. That's
Imagine
really
you got a radio on the South Pole, and you're like, "Hey, you're talking to the North Pole. How's that happen?"
Yeah, because it's
there's no satellites. This is 1918. There's no satellites. There's no radio repeaters.
Yeah. Okay, and then
well, how do they do it? Like without satellites? The whole idea of satellites is that there is a big ball of Earth in the way between 2 points. If there is not a big ball of Earth in the way of 2 points, then you don't need a satellite.
Got it. That's exactly right. Yeah. Ball of Earth. I'm just writing down notes, and I got everything down. And then there were 2 stations, and then the Germans shot a radar beam across England.
It's called a Knickerbein.
Knickerbein?
Yeah, it means crooked leg in German. Hold on, I'll get you something on it.
And then you said the airplane altitude of 12 miles.
Yeah, World War II bombers flew like 23,000 feet or something.
Okay. 23,000 feet.
Maximum, but that wasn't actually their bombing altitude. Their bombing altitude was 7,000 feet.
Okay.
Hey guys, if I may interject just quickly, Indio, don't people ever come to you about with the radio broadcast stuff and say, oh no, they're just bouncing signals off the atmosphere or some shit?
The ionosphere, yeah. That would be a plausible explanation if they didn't do this during the day.
What's the difference back then versus now? Just their knowledge of the so-called ionosphere or something, or what?
Ionosphere is post hoc. It's ad hoc after the fact. So they did it, and then they're like, how could you do that? Well, they must be bouncing up with something in the sky.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no evidence for it. It's just they had like, what else are they gonna say, that the Earth is flat? Like, that's the other option.
So they didn't actually discover it. They inferred it and then just run with it, as opposed to, there must be something. Let's go check it out, and then there is something.
Yeah,
they don't do that
from the fact they can do something that should be impossible.
Okay, so they don't actually go up there and say, "Oh shit, there is this thing," after we discovered that, or we thought it might be here, and oh yeah, it is here.
I think the ionosphere was developed in like the 30s. The idea.
Okay.
But like the radio transmissions were like in the 1918 and shit. So it was like 15, 20 years later. But even if they say it's the ionosphere, that doesn't even work. We can assume there's an ion layer. Fine, that's not a problem. If you use the ionosphere, it has to have all sorts of novel properties, like negative refraction, which they say it has, which is fucking no evidence for. But let's just even say it's true. The ionosphere would cause. So the result of what they say, their theory, their hypothesis is, the ionosphere moves around. So on the day side, the ionosphere is lower than on the night side. So when you do daytime transmissions, they'll bounce off the ionosphere, but only for a max distance of like 800 miles. But at night, they can go some fucking infinite distance. I don't know, bounce around the Earth 1,000 times. Who knows what they say? But the nighttime transmission would say, hey, this is plausible. But the daytime transmission, it's not plausible. Because it can only go 1/10 the distance. And this is when he heard German. Was during the day. All day. Okay? So that excuse, it just don't fly.
So during the day, it's an 800 miles restriction?
Yeah, about that. If you go on the FCC website, which is the Federal Communications Commission, it has articles about skywave propagation.
Got it.
Probably a link in one of these places, because like pretty much everything I'm telling you, they're in one of the information channels, probably.
Yeah, I'll have to rifle through everything and like look very closely and see if they have it. And if not, I'll just just find it online. And at night, it's an infinite distance, so it wouldn't work.
I mean, effectively infinite distance, because they'll say it don't. I mean, there's no evidence for the infinite distance, but they'll just say it, right? I'm just saying it. Like, this is kind of like devil's advocate, giving steel manning their argument and saying, "Hey, this is the best argument they can make," and that still fails. So that's typically what I do. It's something I do. I don't straw man people. I steel man them. I steel man their argument and then say, "Okay, with your best possible version of your argument, it still don't work."
Yeah, that's a very solid way of arguing. It's like it's very very honest way. But let me see. So,
well, I only care about what the truth is. I'm not like stuck on this flat Earth thing.
Yeah,
I booked it. Look, it pretty much goes like this. And all the time I've been doing this, some globe earther says something. I ask them what the evidence for it is. They don't know. I go look it up. I find that the evidence is absolute bullshit. Either the claim doesn't match what's actually observed in reality, or what the claim matches what observed in reality, but they don't even use a globe to even get that in the first place. For example, they'll say things like P and S waves show that the Earth is a ball because the waves travel and avoid the core, or some bullshit. But then if you look how seismic waves are modeled from the data, they use a hyperbolic geometry. In the model, they use the hyperbolic wave equation. And as such, automatically, just from the fact you're using that type of equation, you're going to get that result. So they're not confirming anything. They've taken data, they've stuck it into the model, and the model spits out some result. But they didn't. That's not an observation. What did they observe? Oh, the ground shook. The ground shook at all these different places at all these different times. We're going to take those variables, we're going to stick them in a model, and then we're going to. So they use what's called a Poincare disk model, which is basically it's a hyperbolic wave equation. I'm just using this as an example of like when you look further into it, people will say this confirms a globe, and then you look and they don't even use a globe geometry in the first place. So how could it ever possibly confirm a globe if they're not using globe geometry?
So hyperbolic geometry uses like what kind of model does it use? Like, what is it based off of then? It's like flat Earth, or
no? It's called a point. It's a simplified model. So they're imagining that they took a slice of the Earth, like sideways slice, and that the wave propagated from a point, like so you have a circle, and then you have points within the circle, and the way a ray would travel about that is hyperbolic. So distances go exponential at the edges and are different at the center, and are like so it's almost like a distance formula. So like how you measure distances within the coordinate system changes. It's hard. It's kind of hard to describe, but they have like this Poincare disk model that's been around since Poincare, which was at the end of the 19th century. They basically use this simplified model. But the point isn't that they're using a simplified model. I'm not even bitching about that. It's not even a bitch. I'm just saying is that it can't confirm the globe if there's no globe in the mathematics.
Got it. I see what you're saying. So it slices up like a part of the Earth, and
yeah,
like
a lot of these things, so eclipse predictions. You probably assumed it too, that they use a globe mathematics to predict eclipses. And then people say, well, eclipse predictions, they can be predicted down to the second, they confirm a globe. They're presupposing that they got that prediction from a globe. Here's another one. Sunrise, sunset times. They don't use a globe to get those. They use something called the equation of time. Right? If you look at the formulas, there's no globe in the mathematics. So how can the eclipse or the sunrise eclipse prediction confirm a globe when there's no globe in the math? They're modeling some other shit. This is what I'm talking about. No matter what I look at, no matter what any globers ever presented to me, upon further investigation, the way they thought it worked was wrong, and the way it actually works has nothing to do with a globe in the first place.
That makes sense.
They just thought it did. They just thought it did. Like this happens, bro. I'm telling you, this happens all the time. It's not like I haven't had to say it lately because I just stopped saying it because I got sick of saying it. That's not a globe prediction. You just think it is. And then they're like, what do you mean I just think it is? It is a globe prediction. Blah, 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 blah. Then I get the sources and I'll show them. Okay, there's no globe in this. And then they gish gallop or fucking crash out or something. Right? So they have a fucking psychological breakdown because they're convinced that like every observation aligns with some globe model, and that somewhere someone is freaking like has like a globe 3D model in which all these things is being like mathed out from some sort of globe. None of that shit is. They're not using a globe for any of this crap. GPS doesn't use a globe. It uses something called Earth-centered, Earth-fixed coordinate system. It doesn't use latitude and longitude. It'll display it to you as latitude and longitude after geometric transformation of the coordinate system into latitude and longitude, but it doesn't use a latitude and longitude to find your position. Okay? So that's another one. GPS confirms the globe because they looked on their phone and they saw latitude and longitude, thought latitude and longitude are points on the fucking ground, and then made this whole bunch of leaps of logic to say this proves the globe. They don't know how it works, and if they did know how it works, they would know that the way it works is the geometry of the coordinate system that the GPS uses has 3 coordinates, up, down, and easting. That's not latitude and longitude. Then they take that up, down, and easting, do a geometric transformation, and display it to you as latitude and longitude. Why? It's not like they're useful to you. It just makes you feel good because you're familiar with it.
Okay, so it uses geometry of the coordinate systems, and what's the 3 points you said?
Coordinate systems are arbitrary. They're completely arbitrary. You can use any coordinate system you want for anything.
Yeah, is that why they can spoof like your location? Like if they wanted to, I've heard that like they can mess your
like
location.
GPS spoofing. That's nothing, dude. Like that's fucking. You can do that for like $300 or something. GPS is a passive system. Do you know that, right? It's a passive. It's not two-way communication. A GPS quote unquote transmitter. People think it's a satellite. Don't let them think that. Fine. You think that? Fine. But the transmitter is just a beacon. Just sends out signals repeatedly. Right? And your receiver picks it up. And the information in there is how far is the satellite away from me? How long did it take? Not even how far. It's how long did it take the signal to get to me from the time it transmitted it to the time I received it. And if you have a bunch of satellites or transmitters that your receiver picks up, then you can use something called trilateration to figure out where your position is within some degree of certainty. But that position is calculated on a tangent plane in Earth center, Earth fixed coordinates. Now, from that, they can extrapolate. You're standing on a globe and it's underneath you, and then this globe thing underneath you, they can transform your coordinates into latitude and longitude. But there's no globe required for any of this, and it's not anywhere in the math. So this is another thing. GPS uses a globe. People just think that. But it's not true at the technical level of actually the way a GPS functions.
Okay, so it's a GPS transmitter is a beacon that sends out.
It's a passive beacon. It just sends out a repeating signal.
Signals. Okay.
Here I am. I sent this signal at frickin' 2:00. That's it. You're like, I picked that up at 2:00 plus 2 milliseconds. Oh my God, the speed of light's 300,000 meters per second. You're fucking 1,000 miles away from me.
Right.
That's it. That's all it does. But it will take a bunch of these sources, right? I'm 1,500 miles. I'm 3 feet. I'm fucking 30 miles. I'm whatever. And then you can take circles, right? You can take a circle from each point, and the distance is the radius, and draw a bunch of circles, and where they overlap, that's where you are. It's called trilateration.
Yeah, tangent to the Earth fixed and for Earth center. So we said
Earth center, Earth fixed is on a tangent plane. Okay. So if you type in ECF diagram in a Google or whatever, hit Google Images, you'll see a ball with a little square on it, and on that little square will say XYZ or up, down, easting. That's the actual coordinate the GPS receiver uses in the device. Doesn't use a globe. The globe is it was an addition after the fact.
It's a post-diction.
It's not it's just an addition after the fact. Okay, we have a plane. We know where he is on this plane. Okay, let's stick a globe underneath him. Where is he on that?
Yeah, just put a globe under there, and it's like, yeah, we're on the globe right now. That's how we're doing.
Literally what they do, dude. It's literally what they do.
That's funny.
But that's not how people think of it. They think the thing is calculating latitude and longitude, and I don't know what people think. I just know that it doesn't use a globe. People think it does, and this is look, man, like you've seen how complex this sophisticated this topic is. There's like points, and points is like an octopus. There's points everywhere. But the thing is, no matter what a globe earther has brought up to me in 8 years, upon further investigation, the way they thought it worked is not the way it actually works.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
I'm
make
writing
up
down
a lot of shit in their. They make up like I just hate to say, they make up a lot of shit in their head. They like it. I call it filling in the blanks. Like they're told, hey, there's satellites in space, right? And there's this device that tells you where you are, and and no one ever told them, hey, it uses a globe to work. They just said, oh, global positioning system. It must use a globe to work because there's satellites and I have a receiver. And they just fill in the blanks that inside that receiver, it's doing mathematical calculations on the surface of a globe. But it's not. They just filled in that blank, dude, because they just imagined it to be that way because it would make sense to them. Well, it would make sense if, like, the global positioning system uses a globe in the mathematics. That makes sense. Sure, it makes sense, but that's not what they're doing.
Yeah, you know what this makes me want to do? It makes me want to get like a sniper and shoot a satellite out of the air and see what it is. Like that's what I want to do. Just see like watch what it is like see like what it's using and like what it carries. Because that really annoys me when I see those things and like I'm like, what is this?
Well, here's another
Like,
thing. No, man, it's late, man. I should have went to bed. So, no human being has ever observed an orbit of anything ever.
yeah.
Ever. No one has. Right? So you can look at the moons of Jupiter. They go left to right and then they disappear. And then they appear back where they started again. They go left or right and then they disappear. And they go left or right and then they disappear. And that's all you ever see. You don't see an orbit. Okay? Look at the moon. You don't see the moon orbit the Earth. Look at the sun. You don't see the sun orbit the Earth. You don't see any of the planets orbit the sun. Right? You don't actually see any of that shit. You don't see satellites orbit the Earth. So you got to think, no one has ever observed the full orbit of anything ever in the history of humanity. But everybody thinks, as sure as shit, that orbits, certainly, they fucking definitely exist. And if you don't believe in orbits, you're obviously a fucking delusional fruitcake. Well, who's the delusional fruitcake? The guy that doesn't believe in orbits because no human being has ever seen one, or the guy that believes in orbits even though no human being has ever seen one?
Right. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you go to bed. I don't want to keep you awake. You know, I know you got to get your rest.
Yeah. Well, I got to get up and it's going to be like 2 hours now. I actually have to leave here in 2 hours. Fuck. Okay.
Holy moly! You traveling?
Well, I just got to go to a doctor's appointment. It's fucking super early in the morning. I got to go like 7. But it's going to take me an hour to get there, so I have to leave at 6. So if I went to bed now, which is 4, I'd get 2 hours sleep. That would be if I could just jump out of bed and start moving, which I can't. So I probably have to get up 30 minutes earlier than that. So that would give me an hour and a half sleep. I can do it.
You have a strong will. You're very smart. You know, you got a strong will, so you can do it. And I appreciate you helping me and on this. This is very interesting stuff. Like I haven't gotten this deep.
Yeah, dude. I hate to brag, dude, but like on Discord, like the Flat Earthers on Discord, this is like the pro league. Every other platform, I'm on X and I'm on Facebook. Well, I don't really use Facebook that much. Only like the server. We have a server Facebook page. And I use that. But like on X and like TikTok and all the other, those fuckers are amateurs. And I hate to say it. There are some people that are on Discord in that. But like the Flat Earth, like I hate to say this word, community or whatever you want to call it on Discord, because we actually like have debated this topic more just because of the platform, the way it works. So we've been churning people for fucking years now, right? I probably debated, I don't know, it's got to be at least 10,000 people. on this topic easily. But if I was on another platform like X or fucking TikTok, after like 5 or 6 years, I might have debated 500. So it's like, it's just the platform. So we've advanced this idea way farther than they have. Like, it's same with like on YouTube. Like, those people, like on YouTube, they don't really interact. Yeah, they have debates on YouTube about the topic, but they don't really interact with people on a regular basis, right? Like their chat or whatever, and even that is so limited. So we've debated, we have looked at all this, fucking data, and like I've debated PhDs in cosmology, physics, all that. Everyone, like almost everyone here has. We've debated professionals, academics, you name it, pilots, surveyors, geologists, fucking botanists. Like you pick the fucking profession. We've talked with them about it. Astrophysicists. And
yeah, that's exactly my point.
But here's the funny thing is, doesn't matter if they're in 9th grade, sophomore in college, PhD in physics. They all have the same answer. I don't have that information. Magic Science guy does.
Right. They always appeal to
What
authority.
I mean by Magic Science guy is they always think that there's somebody out there that has the evidence, right? Okay, they'll make a claim. You go, what's the evidence? Like, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. And if they are a scientist, they go, I don't know. That's not my field of study. There's some other guy that knows. Okay, so we're looking for the other guy. If you know where he is, the Magic Science guy that has the information, the evidence that confirms the globe, we want to find him. We're looking for him. Okay? If you find him, send him this way. We're looking for Magic Science guy.
Yeah. So they appeal to authority all the time, basically.
Yeah. I mean, like, no, it's just like, yeah, I mean, you could call it appeal to authority or appeal to credentials or whatever.
Yeah.
But basically, it just boils down to they don't know, somebody else knows, and they believe that somebody else knows, and that's why they believe it. They just believe there's somebody else with the information, and they trust that it's out there somewhere. The only times we debated somebody and they're like, they say something, and then we ask them how they know that, and then they have to look it up. Like, why did you believe it before you had the information from which to base a belief on? You auto-believed it. I believe this thing. Okay, what's the evidence of that thing? I don't know. Let me go find it. So you believed it before you had the evidence. You got it? Like, this isn't outlier shit. I'm not talking about, like, strange, weird fucking people. This is the vast majority of globe earthers. They believe something, and then when pressed, have to go find the evidence for what they believe. And then they find the thing, and then it doesn't even say anything that corresponds to what they believe, or the evidence is contrary, or it's just like some other fucking anti-flat earther saying some other bullshit without evidence, right? So they'll link a page that just makes the same claims they make, but on that page actually has no evidence for those claims. These are normal. This is normal par for the course shit that we deal with. Like, this topic isn't close. We get in a debate, like, it isn't close. Like, it's not a close debate. It's not even remotely close. That's the fucked up thing.
How many people laugh at us and then boldly claim and confidently claim that the moon phases are caused by Earth's shadow?
How about gravity being caused by the rotation of the Earth?
Oh my gosh. Crazy.
Yeah, we've heard that many times. Or the sun is a burning ball of fire. Or mass is the amount of matter. Or gravity is something falling. Or any number of things, dude. It's just crazy. Yeah, they think eclipses are moon phases. That's one of them. That's a pretty kooky one.
Jeez. So, have you had a guy that's like your toughest opponent, like on here, or has everyone kind of been? Oh, okay.
The only thing that's tough to deal with is like sophistry and shit. Actually, like just dealing with the facts of the matter, that's no. There's no challenge there because they don't have the facts. So it's like, what's the challenge? The only thing we have to deal with is like that's challenging is like dishonest people, people that lie, people that straw man, people that do all sorts of like debating gimmicks, debating tactics, right? That can be tough to deal with if they're like a clever debater, because you can be a good debater and have no facts and prevail, right? If you're against a weak debater, right? So you can prevail just on bullshit. So we have those type of people try to do stuff. There's a whole group of people, they're called debate bros, and they have all these debate gimmicks. They'll just try to debate any topic, literally. And their thing is to debate. They don't know. They try to win debates not knowing anything about the topic, just using debate tactics. Like one of them is to do a bait and switch immediately in the discussion. That is to state a position, the other side states a counter position, and then in one or two sentences, somehow co-opt and take their position and get them to argue against their own position that they initially did.
Yeah, they heavily rely on their opponent not having a complete understanding of formal logic and debate. Yeah.
Yeah, but they try to do the bait and switch where they get the person like to argue against their own claim.
Right. So that's like.
So that's the difficult shit. It's not the fucking facts of the matter. That's easy.
So the subterfuge
for other people might be
basically.
I'm a freak.
We get people to do that without even trying.
Yeah, I know. We could do that without even trying, bro. Like, dude, just like a run-of-the-mill Glober, he'll come in here and within 3 seconds, they'll be fucking throwing their own authorities under the bus and contradicting themselves. It's actually quite humorous. We actually like have events. Like this is an event, like, but we run events. It's called Under the Bus Show. And the thing is, see how long it takes, like any Glober that comes in the debate, see how long it takes them to throw like Neil deGrasse Tyson or Bill Nye or somebody like one of their heroes under the bus. Because all those people have said stuff that contradict like their idea of what the globe is. Right? Oh, I saw a freaking Earth curve from an airplane. Well, Neil deGrasse Tyson says you can't see it even from 128,000 feet. Oh, fuck Neil deGrasse Tyson. He doesn't know what he's talking about, right? Like, they'll throw their own dude under the bus in 5 seconds.
That's insane. That's the thing about basing your science or your beliefs off of like a false philosophy, I guess you can call this, or whatever you
that's
false.
What it is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So
yeah,
if you think about it just from a logical standpoint, because the globe has no sense evidence, right? No perceptive evidence. You can't go out into the world and deduce it's a globe. I ask these guys sometimes, if nobody told you the Earth is a globe, would you have figured it out yourself? And no one's ever said yes. They all say no. That means there's nothing in that physical natural world that they've ever experienced from which they would ever deduce that the Earth's a globe or infer it. That is completely based upon word of mouth. Now, so you're starting from a position of you have no actual physical evidence of the claim. So the only way to advance that is to presuppose it. So the presupposition alone, the very fact that they start the claim with an assumption, means they can't prove it. Right? They can't prove it from the get-go because it's assumed. Okay? So just like Eratosthenes, his experiment to so-called measure the assumption of the Earth, or measure the circumference of the Earth, to do that, he has to assume it is a globe before he does it. He could do the experiment before that, but it's his conclusion can't be reached without assuming he was measuring a sphere in the first place. So all globe claims contain this, where they have to assume there's a globe in the first place. Well, this is affirming consequent formal logical fallacy. No globe claim can be maintained logically because it has no axiom from which to start. And an axiom, in the sense of logic, is something that's self-evident. It's not self-evidently a globe. So you have to start from that assumption.
Right. Makes sense. You have to contrive that, yeah.
Yeah, like you could start with an assumption and presupposition. That's fine, and you can go on to believe whatever it is you fucking want to believe. But you can't prove it deductively through logic that actually is the case. But we're at the state of being in this society where it's like fucking the Earth is a globe is unquestionable truth, right? So just to tell you what happens is they start with the unquestionable truth that only fucking retards think is wrong. And then within interacting with us after 5 minutes, they're showing that all they have is a fucking belief based upon a presupposition that they can't prove. And they fucking go out of their minds, dude. They fucking crash out. Because they went from a fucking goddamn existential fucking certainty to fucking I don't know in 5 minutes. If you probably polled 100 people and you said, what is the thing you're most certain of in this world? They would probably say Earth's a globe.
Jeez.
Yeah, and they don't know that at all. Like even a little bit. Yeah, that's the state of affairs. I mean, I am going to get off. It was nice talking to you. And
yeah,
I gave you a lot of information. And I realized, like, you probably got, I can't even believe you lasted that long. I gave you more than any freaking human being could probably possibly digest in such a short period of time. So, you know, take it in bite-sized chunks. You know what I mean? Don't choke on it.
Yeah.
Typically, when I go on a roll like this with somebody, they can't last, dude. So kudos to you for fucking even putting up with it for that long. I could keep going for another fucking 4 hours. I can dump so much fucking information on you that your fucking brain will turn it to fucking gelatin. Well, it already is kind of gelatin, but I mean actual gelatin. Like strawberry gelatin.
Yeah, it's all going into my subconscious, man. I'm absorbing everything. It's all coming in.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit. But this is a multifaceted topic. There's history. There's science. There's experiments. There's observation. There's philosophy. There's psychology and sociology, and there's a lot of things all tied into this. There's tentacles everywhere that go into like almost because it's in the modern day, the idea of the Earth's a globe is the foundation of existence. Because it's where you are, right? So this is like, how can you answer any question about life if you don't know where you are?
Right. Yeah. That's exactly what I want to do. Like, I want to figure all this stuff out and be fundamentally solid on everything. Like, I don't want to have any gaps, you know?
Yeah, dude. And like, seriously, we're not saying, hey, believe us anything. That is definitely not the case. We're not here to convince anybody to be a flat earther. That is not what we're here for.
Right.
Like I just gave you, I gave you a bunch of information that you did not have before.
Exactly.
Now, you can actually make an informed decision about what to think, right? Or maybe where you should go from here. Maybe what they're telling me the Earth's a globe isn't true. Maybe what can I do to test that? What can I do for myself to actually verify what they say is true? Justify my belief in what they say by going out and doing some test, some experiment, long distance observation, laser test. I mean, I didn't even get to the Bolivian salt flats. The Bolivian salt flats are just, that's the end. Like, the Bolivian salt flats are a 43,000 square mile salt flat that when it rains, it fills up with like 3 inches of water. But when it fills up with 3 inches of water, it makes like a perfect giant fucking mirror. Okay? Now look in the chat. I want to show you something.
Bolivian salt flats. Got it.
Yes, the Bolivian salt flats. Now, what happens when you see the reflection of a curved mirror? It's distorted, right? The image is distorted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like those it's like when you go on the circuit, right?
Watch this video. This is the Bolivian salt flats. This is how undistorted the mirror is.
You just put that in the lobby, India.
Oh shit. Yeah, thanks, dude.
No worries, man.
Let me see.
Okay, yeah, it's in there now. Now this video is gonna blow your fucking mind. Blew my mind when I saw it.
So it should be distorting, right?
Yeah. So what should happen is that the reflection. So you got the reflection and the sky, right? So you got the sky and the reflection of the sky. They should not be symmetric. You know what I mean by symmetric, right? So they shouldn't be mirror images of each other. One should look a little different than the other one. Should be distorted. Like the spacing should be different. So what the spacing should be is as you look further and further off in the horizon, the reflection distances relative to the sky should be compressed because the Earth curving down from you is less surface area. So it's projecting on a smaller surface. That means it can't look the same because you're looking at less surface area than the sky.
Wow, that's crazy. And what would a globe earther say when they see this? What would they say?
There's some things globe earthers don't respond to. They don't respond to shit like this.
They just say no. They just say like no. Gotta go.
Just change the subject, man. There's some observations that are so fucking crushing that they just change the subject. This is one of them. So they won't talk about the Bolivian salt flats. There's some tests that were done on a frozen lake they won't talk about. They won't talk about some tests that were done at Salton Sea. There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them that they just change the subject. I mean, they just like because it's like, bro, like I told you, there's psychology and sociology involved in this. People's identity is linked to the globe. So like you take that away from them, it's like, what do they have? They have to reevaluate their entire fucking life. And they're not ready for that. So they'd better to just ignore it and move on and fricking go through a crisis right here on the live stream. Like,
right. They'll appeal to a derivative, right?
Well, we've seen the crisis.
Appeal to a derivative. Yeah. Yeah, because instantly they'll be like, but then how does eclipses work? Right? It's like
no, that's not the real crisis. The real crisis is I don't know anything is true. I could be a brain in a jar.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Then after sometimes after they've accused us of doing that, like, you know what I mean? Like, because we'll question like, well, how do you know that that's a real photo from space, right? How do you authenticate that? Oh, well, how do you know anything's true? How do you know anything's real then? It's like,
have you seen your brain? You haven't seen your brain, so how do you know you have one?
Right.
Oh my gosh. Is that really what they say? They say stuff like that all the time?
Oh, bro. We call them, we have a nickname for them. We call them the 99 percenters. So check this out. We had a streamer, a guy named Mr. Sensible. He actually flew like a high altitude balloon, take a bunch of photographs, thought he proved the curve of the Earth. He came in this chat and debated AB. Okay, he's a dude. He's one of our members. So he's live streaming while he's debating AB. Okay, and AB asked him, because he's like, he said something like, well, I can never be 100% sure about anything. And AB's like, well, are you talking on Discord right now? He's like, I don't know. I can't be 100% sure of that. And then he goes, well, are you sitting in a chair? Do you know if you're sitting in a chair right now? Now, this dude is live streaming while he's sitting in a chair. And he's like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm sitting in a chair. Okay? So this is where their mind has to go. That if the Earth is not a globe, nothing is real.
These are not the droids you are looking for.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Exactly. Rumpus even said he'd sign himself into a mental institution if he had to accept that the Earth is flat.
That's crazy. Like, I guess people's realities really are that tied to this stuff. Like, I'm not even like, even when I was younger and I was like taught this stuff, I never really like attached myself to that to the point where I would be like imploding because somebody told me that it's not true, like about globes and stuff. Like, I don't know how people are that like attached to this stuff. Maybe it's because like maybe because like a sci-fi movies or like Star Trek.
I mean, I think that's the difference though. Because I wasn't attached to the globe, even though I knew a lot about, like, modern cosmology, science, and all the shit, I wasn't attached to it. So when I saw something like the Chicago skyline from 52 miles away, when I saw that video and them saying it's a mirage and me going, well, that's not a fucking mirage. That's not what a mirage looks like. Right. And that's what started me down the road of investigating it. When I investigated, I wasn't on, like, I didn't care one way or the other, like which one it was. So, like, it didn't matter to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly. It's like I'm like a guy who just accepts the truth. I don't look for coping mechanisms or try to find like a way to like escape the truth. Like I just accept what it is. Like if I see it in front of me and I just accept it. Like I don't try to make up lies or cope about it, because a lot of people do that for some reason. I guess they're just so like they're scared to be rejected by society, maybe, or I don't know. Maybe they don't like the fact that they're not conforming. I have no idea, but it's not easy though. I will say that much. If you're like someone who's accepting the truth, it's very difficult because you're kind of a pariah, a social pariah sometimes at some points, because you have to accept certain things that most people won't accept.
I think it's more like a claustrophobic feeling, like a existential dread. Like not knowing. You know how?
Yes, that's exactly
the
what it
fear
is,
of not
man.
knowing, something like that. Yeah, it's terrifying.
Existential dread.
It's existential dread, dude. Yes.
So like not knowing something.
You've never heard that term before?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What is it? What do go on a little about it?
It's almost like facing your own mortality. It's like that.
Really?
But instead of you like facing your mortality as in you might die, it's more like you're afraid that you might live.
Wow.
Well, we're
afraid of being alive, dude. I might live, and it might not be a globe that I live on. Ah!
Yeah, it's actually like your whole life you grew up thinking and believing that we knew what we knew. You know what I mean? So it was like that being taken away in an instant, and then you're just left with this emptiness. This this panic. You know what I mean? Of holy crap, what is it? What am I? What, you know what I mean? It's like it all comes back like you were wrong.
Yeah,
About
like
everything.
yeah,
Oh
a
my
perception
gosh.
of you have a perception of your
Yeah.
own existence and how you exist and where you exist and all those things.
Yeah.
Everybody does this how they operate in the world. But like imagine like the foundation of that is wrong and you have to like you but the thing is that's like the foundation of like your entire everyday life of everything you do. When you get up for work, like where you kiss your wife, like everything is based upon you made all your life's choices based upon that. Then you find out that one of the frickin' pillars of that crumbles. Now what? Right? I made all these choices for the wrong fucking reasons, based upon the wrong things. Now, like how you perceived yourself, like your self-image, that's destroyed because it was based upon a fucking false idea. Right? That you're a fucking human being on an infinite, on a little speck of human being, right? Big Bang, evolution, all that shit. But you're on a ball in an uncaring near infinite fucking vacuum. And, you speck of dust in that to some degree you don't matter and you're not special and the earth's not special and nothing about existing is special. And the sun's going to blow up in 4.5 billion years anyway, so who gives a fuck? Okay. You go from that to, oh, fuck, dude, this shit does matter. I am special. The earth is special. All this shit's important. It's all created. And I just fucking wasted 50 years of my fucking life.
Yeah. But it's like if you believe in God, it's like the idea of being separated from love. From you know what I mean. From the thing that gives you that comfort. You know what I mean. When you go to sleep, you can sleep. Because you're comforted by security. You know what I mean. Knowing God exists and love. So imagine being separated from that forever. something like that. That kind of dread, when it comes to like an atheist or a person who doesn't know or doesn't believe in a creator or God.
I think I see what you're saying. It's like someone
It's
who's
like finding out you're
annihilated.
adopted or something. Imagine finding out you're adopted. That's like a soft version of that, right? Even like finding out you're adopted isn't even as bad as like being a hardcore glober and then finding out the Earth is flat. It's even worse. That sensation is worse than even finding out you're adopted.
It's like I'm assuming it's like a nihilist.
It would be more like you think like all the books that you've ever read, all the TV shows you've ever saw said you weren't adopted, and then they're all wrong, and then you find out you are adopted. It would be more like that.
Yeah, that's a good way. That's a good way of putting it. I like that. Because like if you accept this stuff, you're like this globe stuff, you have to be a nihilist in a sense, right? Because you believe in all these theories and we're gonna die in 4.5 billion years or whatever, and everything means nothing. We're on a ball spinning.
Yeah, because
all came about by chance.
I've been telling them this recently that like their whole like they've adopted a philosophical worldview without knowing it, and that's the Copernican principle. The Copernican principle says that the Earth holds no unique place in the universe, and it's just like everything else. Which is why people come in here and go, "Well, there's balls in the sky, and if the Earth is like everything else and not unique, then Earth must be a ball in the sky." Right? Real simple. That the logic is flawless. The problem is the claim that Earth is not unique. Like, where'd you get that from? Right? That's
Because
a
they
philosophical evaluation, right? That's not like there's no evidence for that. You have no idea if the Earth is unique or not. But actually, your evidence is the Earth is unique because only here is life. And
That's
only
right.
here
Not even in their own paradigm is that true.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Yep.